Oh, I do apologise. In this stream, I'll be joined by Karl Broadbent, fellow internet marketeer and friend. You've probably seen him in the chat a few times. He's also got a fantastic YouTube channel himself, which I think I put a link to in the description. I'm wearing these things, by the way, because it's easier for Skype. I know it's not a good look. But yeah, you'll find a link to his YouTube in the description of this stream. And yeah, we're going to be talking about internet marketing and sites and all that stuff. Now, I did just have a few technical problems. I guess it was the pressure of being joined by Karl. I don't know what it was. But the starting soon thing all went wrong. And then I pressed go live. And it may have done a live on another thing that's not this thing. But so you probably had a notification that doesn't work. But hopefully you've had another notification for this one. You know what I'm like. I'm good with the technology. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I'll do a few hellos. What I'm going to do is do some hellos, and then I'm going to give you a quick update on Best Roof Box, and then we'll talk to Karl. But anyway, yeah, fashionably late. Thank you, Dana. Hello, Dana, by the way, and hello, Helen, and hello, Stupid Robot Fighting League. I've still no beard, I'm afraid, and I know your trick regarding the countdown at the end, trying to keep me here for longer than I should be. Hello Bram, hello Josh, hello J5, hello Fix, good to see you, hello Phil, and hello to Nick and David, John, good to see you, MMK Ventures, good to see you. Who else we've got? Kieran, hello to you. Glenn, good to see you. Who else? J-Bug, hello to you. Dad Gamer, regular now, good to see you. And Jim, hello to you, and Luck, and British Trucking, and Bram, and all of you. If I didn't say your name, I do apologise. Hello, SciTech. But do keep saying hello and talk to me in the chat, and I'll try and give you a mention. We will be doing any questions, me and Karl. So if you've got a question, just put it in the chat. And if I miss it, then just ask again. But not too many times, because that's annoying. Just a quick question from Jess or Jessie. Any good niche start, low viewers but high affiliate sales? Anything high value? Which we'll talk about in a bit. So anyway, let's just quickly switch over here. And oh yeah, by the way, you see I've got a Google up there for WPX hosting. Jim says, does anyone have a really pixely image? No, you might need to go down and click on the little cog thing and change your whatever. Bradbury, don't go. Hello, Bradbury. Please don't unsubscribe. But anyway, yeah, I was looking at WPX hosting. I've moved Best Roof Box to WPX hosting because lots of people were saying that they're fantastically fast and amazing and better than SiteGround and all that stuff. Hello, R7, good to see you. So I've moved the site to WPX hosting. I've not seen any increase in speed. The support is good, but they're quite a lot more money than SiteGround, so I may not stay with them. But I will do a video on it soon. Phil, what do you know about WPX hosting? That'd be interesting to know. Anyway, let's talk about Best Roof Box. Now, I can't remember. On the last stream, did I mention that I'd added the FAQ? I think I did. So the FAQ is starting to be indexed. I've created it with UAE. But other than that, yeah, a couple of new articles, which again, I may have added last time. But yeah, the link to the new host, let me just pop that in. It is an affiliate link, of course. I think that's it. Let me just check. It might be WPX hosting. I can't remember. I only set it up the other day. wpeagle.com/WPX. Yeah, there it is. It does work. I may move back to SiteGround. So you're not too much work on Best Roof Box. There we go. But if we look at traffic, it's starting to grow really nicely. And if I compare to the last 30 days, it is down. But do you remember we had like that freakishly high bit of traffic, which I'm not quite sure where it came from? So this looks more promising. That's a nice steady upward curve there, isn't it? So that's looking good. In terms of commissions, wow, this is the best month ever for sure. We're up to 582 in Amazon commission this month. We're selling a couple of roof boxes every day at the moment, so looking good. Well, you can ask Karl yourself in a minute, Jess, if you like, and he'll share whatever sites he wants to share. So I'm thinking this month we've still got, well, nearly a week left, haven't we, till Sunday? So yeah, I'm thinking, what, 700? Should we put a bet on 700? Maybe. But anyway, that's the best roof box done. I think it's time to bring Karl in. Don't you think? Are you ready, Karl? You can hear me, good. So I've got the button here. Let me just press this button and see if it works. Does that work? Can you see myself? Here's Karl. Oh, no, he's over there. And so yeah, welcome, Karl. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming on, though you are obviously a regular in the chat. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself. Do you want to just tell everyone what you're about and all that stuff, and you know, whatever you want to share with everyone, really? Oh, hang on, Karl. I'm being told that there's no sound for you. Sorry. Say something now.
Can you hear me now?
Well, let's just wait for chat.
See if anybody in the chat can hear.
Well, there's a slight delay. Yes, we're back. Sorry, start that again. He was just saying how wonderful he was at doing internet marketing. Karl, over to you. The technology fails me again.
So yes, I've been building websites for around 3 years now. Part-time at the moment, but hopefully due to do this full-time very soon. Started watching one of your videos. I sat at the kitchen table and did I think it was one of your 4-hour tutorials, followed it step by step, and at the end of it, had a website. And it's really just grown from there. It's been amazing over the last 3 years, kind of what I've learned and the people I've met, and kind of the ups and downs that affiliate marketing's had. I mean, I've only been doing it for 3 years, and it's been crazy how it's changed and got moved so fast.
Yeah, and people might also know you from the Income School channel, where you won their competition. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So that was just over a year ago now. I've actually just done a video on that, which I'll be uploading to my channel hopefully this evening, because everybody's been asking me kind of where I am a year later. So I won a competition. I was at work and I received a text to say you've won. And I was from a friend. I was like, what have I won? I didn't have a clue what I'd won. And everybody said, you won the Income School competition. I didn't even know I'd entered an Income School competition. You basically just had to comment on their videos, and just like I do with yours and other people's channels, I'm quite active in the comments and in the chat. And because I'd done that for some time, I commented on a lot of videos, they must have drawn me out of a bag, and I won. So they came to my house, they flew to the UK, and they came and stayed with me for 2 days. And we did some one-on-one coaching and some training and some learnings, and they overhauled one of my websites. So that was just over a year ago now.
Yeah, Bradbury asked, what was it like having Jim and Ricky round for tea?
It was, to be honest, tea. They didn't eat anything. They're absolute machines. I was talking about this yesterday to somebody. I was planning them coming to my home, and I thought, I'll take them out for lunch. We'll go to a pub, but we'll do a bit of work on the website. We'll break off for lunch. Start again. Maybe then go have some tea. They didn't. They just literally turned up at 9 a.m. and they never stopped working till about 7 o'clock on both evenings.
Wow.
It was phenomenal. I kept saying, do you want something to eat? Do you want a drink? They're like, water. And they just literally worked and worked and worked. I mean, I thought I was a workaholic, but those guys are insane.
Yeah, they go crazy. Well, you are a workaholic. Do you want to tell us a little bit about any of your sites? I mean, you don't have to mention any URLs unless you want to, of course. But you've been churning out content continuously, haven't you? For months and months and months. What kind of numbers have you been doing in terms of your output?
So content. I am so keen on just writing content. There's many other things I want to do in affiliate marketing, but I just see content as the main focus. You have to be putting content out. So to give you an idea, last month I published 76 articles. I think it was around 150,000 words.
Wow.
Last month. I think the month before was about 56 articles. So I do bash a lot of content out, but that's spread over. It's actually spread over 3 sites. I do have 4, but one of them's kind of a play site. It's one that I mess about with. So I've got 3 real decent size niche websites. So it's those ones that I focus on the content on.
Well, everyone in the chat's like 76. Did they hear you correctly? How on earth do you get that kind of level of content out? What tips would you say? How do you even approach that? Because most people, they're struggling. J5 says he struggles to do 20. I struggle to do 10, maybe 15, 20 if I'm lucky. But yeah, 76. How you must have some systems in place that allow you to do that.
Yeah, it's built up over the last 3 years. So yeah, by no means did I start writing 70 blogs a month. I was the same as everybody else. I'd write one myself, and I might get one done a week, and that snowballed into 2 a week. And then eventually, after I think the first site, after about 7 or 8 months, started to make a few dollars. So I then reinvested that into content. Used a content writer I found one on Upwork, and then went to iWriter and places like that. Then slowly it built and it snowballed, and I've just reinvested every single penny back into the websites, and to a point where I've actually now got quite a decent team behind me. I have a good friend who a lot of people know in the chat, who does a lot of the proofreading for me and has been an absolute star. I've now got a VA that runs my Pinterest account. I've got 3 full-time writers and 2 kind of on the back burner, so I have a team of 5. I also have a content manager now who I basically, when all the writers finish with the articles, they drop them all into Google Drive. She'll go in then and she'll put them on the site. She'll format them, get them looking pretty. I'll then go in and add links and affiliate products, and then I'll hit publish. So it's kind of like a team. So the writers are constantly writing. They never stop. They're almost full time. And then, like I say, they get proofread. They get dropped into the Dropbox. Then the VA uploads them onto the sites, and I give them the final once over. So it's that, and that has built up. It took 3 years to get to that. So I know people will be thinking, wow, 70. It is a lot. But it's taken me 3 years to get to that, and it costs a lot of money. It's I reinvest every single penny that I make at the moment back into the business. Yeah,
we don't have to mention any money amounts, but I know you have invested a lot of money into your site. But obviously, you think it's going to be a investment that's going to pay off. In many ways. Sorry, just a quick couple of questions. Just people want to confirm you are part time, because you have just clocked off work. You finished work at 8 o'clock, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely did. Yeah, to give you the background, I was a full-time supermarket manager on quite a decent salary here in the UK, and I've now given up that role, which everybody thinks I'm crazy, because it was a decent salary. I had a decent life. I live in a lovely part of the UK, and I'm giving that up to go part-time. So it was quite awkward. Wow, this is quite strange walking back into my place of employment as a colleague rather than a senior manager, and I've done that in the last couple of months, so I can focus fully on the websites to hopefully do this full time. Which, to be fair, it's close to being able to do that. I just, with everything that's gone on, obviously with the pandemic and Amazon and all that lot, I think it'd be a bit of a risk at the minute to cut ties with my employer altogether. So I've kind of just gone part-time for the minute, and we'll see where we are by Christmas, I hope.
Yeah, I think that's very, very sensible. And the great thing about these kind of businesses is that you can overlap them with your traditional day job while you've got one. You've obviously been pulling the hours in over late nights and early mornings and all that kind of stuff.
I used to come home from work at 7, 8 o'clock at night and then work till 2 in the morning. And then I'd set my alarm clock for 6 a.m. I'd be up at 6 a.m. I'd write a blog or do some more work at the website before I went to work at 7:30, and that was 5-6 days a week. So yeah, it's been a hard slog to kind of just get to where I am now. Really.
But I'll come back to your question in a minute, Stupid Robot Fighting League. Just so people can get their head around it. Again, you don't have to answer any kind of real specifics, but for all this time and effort that you've been putting in and money you've spent on your site, what kind of return are you getting that? And you can maybe tell us in either money or in traffic, or just some kind of vague idea that basically that it's worth it, all this time and effort, because that you seriously are putting the hours in. A lot of people wouldn't have that kind of dedication to set their alarm, write some articles, do a full day's work, come home, do some more articles, get a few hours sleep, more articles, keep publishing, keep working, watch some YouTube videos. That's intense. But is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I treat this not just as a monthly income. I don't look at the website as in, right, this earns X amount per month. I look at it as well as I'm building a business. These websites are financially worth something. So, I know one of my main sites is worth at least $50,000-$60,000. So if you just think, there's not only the income I've had over the last couple of years from that site, but there's also the monetary value when I want to sell it. So some months, if I don't earn as much as I'd hoped, I always look at it in the way of, I've added value to that business. I've grown it. It's now worth more. So if I do eventually sell it, I know that I've increased its value. So
you're building something for the future that's going to be worth a lot in the future. And that's the best way to approach this, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when you're struggling sometimes and you don't see any sales, especially when you're first starting off, you do have to realize, like I say, you're in this for the long haul. There's no way I'd even consider giving up on a site or selling a site within 18 months. It's got to be 18 months to 2 years before I'd even consider looking at anything like selling it or giving up on a site. So you certainly got to put the work in, but the reward is there. The financial reward is there. I mean, I have sold some sites which I thought was, I would have just given up on them, but I actually did sell them, and I was really surprised how much they fetched. So, and I'd class them as kind of rubbish sites. So,
so how much can you get for a good one?
Exactly. So that's the way I look at it. Sometimes when I get a bit down, I think, I've not earned as much as I wanted this month. Then that kind of always picks me up that, I've increased the value of the site overall, so.
Quick couple of questions. I want to do some questions as they come in, otherwise I will forget them. The first one a little while back was from Stupid Robot Fighting League. Just a quick one. How has the virus affected your sites? Because you mentioned that, with Amazon changes in the virus and stuff, that's obviously had an impact. What kind of effect has it had? So
out of the 3 main sites I had, one of them was devastated by the Google Make-or algorithm change. For some reason, it was my biggest, strongest site. It was, I would have thought, probably the most solid of all the 3 sites I've got, and that for some reason got badly hit traffic-wise. So that was the only site that got hit traffic-wise. All the other sites maintained the traffic and actually slightly went up, so that was all good. Monetary value, the income went down because all my websites, apart from my latest one, my newest one, are all based on ad revenue. So they're all traffic focused. So that's one thing Income School taught me right at day one. They said, kind of, where do you want to go? Do you want to go down affiliate products, or do you want to go down traffic? And I always had the thought of, if you've got traffic, you can make money. Yeah, so course, it was always going after the traffic, and it so happens that ads was the biggest part of the traffic and the biggest income. Now that has gone down because of the pandemic, because my traffic comes from the US, and obviously businesses down there are shut, or they're not trading as they would normally. So so the RPM on the ad revenue, the amount I get paid per 1,000 views, has gone down.
Yeah, it's because there's less people advertising. You're not going to advertise your business if you're closed, are you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get, I'm with Mediavine, and you get like a chart, and you can watch and it's gone, it's gone straight down. So, but I know it's only a temporary thing. I know the site's solid. I know it's good. It's just this the worst thing's been the Google core update on that side. The pandemic as such hasn't really knocked it too much. It's been the core update that did.
Okay, well, let's talk about that, because Jesse has just quickly asked how many visitors on each of your sites. Karl, obviously you don't have to share specific numbers, but
yes, fine.
So and maybe combine this with what effect the recent algorithm change that Google rolled out, what effect that's had on your sites, and has it affected all of them?
Yeah, so to this, I mean, I haven't sort of got public case studies, but I have kind of let people know that the 2 of the websites that are within the pet niche, and my new site is in alternative energy, let's just say. And my 4th site is the keyword care, which is the keyword service. So the 2 pet sites are the main ones, the biggest sites. The first site, my biggest one, gets around 70,000 page views a month. And the second pet website gets about 40,000 page views a month. And then my new site is pretty much brand new.
Some people are saying, did you sell your site on Flippa? Any of your sites when you did sell your sites? Was that Flippa?
So I sold 2 sites. Yeah, 2 sites that I had. I can't remember how long ago it was now, but yeah, I was on a holiday. I went to Ireland and went to the middle of nowhere that had no Wi-Fi or signal, and I put 2 websites up for sale, which was absolutely crazy. The amount of questions I got, and and I got them sold while I was there, and I didn't have access to Wi-Fi. So luckily, Phil from spiderweb.co.uk, he sorted them all out. I basically just said, Phil, sell these sites for me, and he took care of it, and thank goodness he did.
Phil's in the chat, by the way, if anyone needs any server stuff.
Yeah, Phil's an absolute legend, So without him, I don't know what I'd have done. We're all trying to have a holiday, and I'm there on my phone every minute trying to sell these 2 sites. So, but actual experience through Flippa wasn't bad at all. I must admit, I mean, I didn't think it was bad at all. I sold them for a decent price. They didn't have much content on at all, but I sold them for a reasonable price. I think one was $1,500, and I think the other was $1,000. But I'd have given up on them. I probably would have just let them die. So
just giving them away on a live stream, maybe.
Yeah, you go. So got a few subscribers on my channel.
Get rid of them. Yeah, do check out Karl's channel. He has done videos on a few of the things we've spoke about already. So yeah, if you want the details, go check it out. A couple of other questions coming in, and this, I think you've just answered it. But Alexander says, is a website worth money even if the website does not generate income? So those sites that you thought were dead and buried, were they generating anything?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of $100. So it wasn't a lot. I didn't kind of go on the multiple. I didn't go on the 27 times your income. It was just a case of, I just thought if we get $1,000, it seemed right.
As a result,
and somebody snapped it up. So they were getting traffic. So they both was getting traffic. I wouldn't ever consider selling a site that's got no traffic or no sales. I just don't like the idea of that. I don't think it sits well with me. But yeah, I mean, they were both getting traffic, so they had. I know. Well, actually, they're both still doing fine. I do still know the websites are still live, and I do occasionally check up, see how they're doing, and I know they are doing good. One's doing particularly better than the other, but yeah, they are making money.
Okay, Kofi's just done a super chat. So if you don't know super chat, obviously you have to get the horn. So we'll just get out of the way now. Good, everyone enjoyed that. But he asks, if you're new, what's the best way to gain some traffic to my site?
If it's a new site, a brand new site?
Brand new site, yeah. What would you suggest? And this is actually a question I ask all the time. When someone is starting up and they've started on zero, they've installed Google Analytics and just there's nothing happening. What would you say to them?
I mean, the first thing obviously is to get your content on. So start steadily adding your blogs, and you'll start steadily seeing them index and rising up the SERPs index. But if you want quick traffic and get some quick traffic over there, Pinterest. Just jump on Pinterest. Get a few blogs written, create some pins, get a good Pinterest account set up, get it SEO set up correctly, and you'll see instant traffic. Pinterest is one of the ways that it is a search engine, but it favors new content and new boards and new sites, whereas obviously Google favors older, more mature sites. So if you want some quick instant traffic, then Pinterest, you can do it. But I would only be doing that on the back of you're still building your blogs, you're still building.
Yeah. If you've got limited resources, you really need to just focus on that content. So just quickly, there was another super chat from Stupid Robot Fighting League, and I didn't press the horn, so we'll just do that now. There you go, enjoy that. So Pinterest, you mentioned that you've now kind of outsourced a lot of that work to your VA.
Yeah.
I guess you see a return on that investment there, but what kind of activities are they doing? I mean, so are they creating the Pinterest graphics for you? What do they do?
So she works once a month. She'll go into Tailwind, which is like a scheduling pro software that you can schedule your pins to different boards. And so what she does is she goes into that and she sets up all the pins to be reshared. So when I write a blog, I always make sure I put one Pinterest pin on every single blog, and then I then tell her that the pins have been uploaded. There's been some new content uploaded. She'll go to my site. She'll pull the pins off of there. She'll put them in the Tailwind, which is the scheduling software, and she will create 20 new pins as well herself. So if I publish 70 odd blogs, there's 70 new pins, and then she'll do 20 as well, and then she adds them into the scheduling software, and she publishes them sort of every month, so they constantly drip fed.
So are they
throughout.
being pinned onto your boards, or are you pinning them on other boards and stuff? I never really got my head around how I went too much. I probably should reinvestigate it. But So where do you pin all this stuff?
So you have your own boards. So we pin them to our boards first, and then she will then share them to other group boards. So if you pin stuff to your own boards, you will get a few clicks, you will get some visitors, but you really need to join big boards that are already out there. So part of her job, well, actually probably 90% of her job, is to reach out to other big boards that's got hundreds of thousands of members and hundreds of thousands of pins, and says, can I collaborate with you? Can I share my pins with you? And basically when they say yes, she's then allowed to pin some pins to those boards, which are getting like millions of visitors a month. So that's when you really start to see some organic traffic through.
Good numbers coming through, and it's all links as well. So I don't know what effect it has on your SEO. I imagine it's positive. But just while we're on Pinterest, I mean, I'm just thinking about my site, Best Roof Box, and I always feel a little bit funny when I'm pinning a pin about the best roof box for a Honda Civic, and it kind of leads into the question that we've just had. Oh, where has it gone? I can't see it, but it was basically, is Pinterest better for female content or for a certain type of content? Oh, there it is, Dad Gamer. Have you found that? Because obviously you cover a number of different niches with your sites. Does Pinterest lend itself more to some niches over others?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, like I say, in one of my last videos I did about Pinterest, I do show some examples on there because it is quite shocking. It's some of the data coming through. I get around 400,000 impressions a month. So that's how many times my pins are being seen somewhere on Pinterest, not necessarily clicked. So I get around 14,000 people click the pins a month, and then obviously a certain amount go over to the website. And the statistics are it's around 89 to 90% are female that click it, and also the niches that you see on there. So yeah, it certainly doesn't lend itself well to a car, any male kind of topics, so hunting, fishing, I don't know, cars. Yeah, it tends to not do very well with them. So I'm in the pet niche, it sits really well. Anything pets, cooking, home, gardening, anything like that does really, really well. But yeah, best roof boxes, it might not do too.
It is a little bit tricky. I have done a few bit of Pinterest. It did seem to work. Sorry, is my sound echoing? A couple of people said it has, but it might be. I don't know if I need to turn off the Skype or something. I'll carry on and we'll see what people say. Healthman, sorry, I do see your posts, but it's just they've been moved too fast. In answer to your question, that your stock images are too big. Generally, when you download from a stock site, you're going to need to resize the actual dimensions because they're often huge. So use Photoshop or Canva or something to resize it. It only needs to be 1,000 wide, probably maximum. Okay, now there is an echo. Let me turn this down. Is that better? I've turned off this mic. Or is it this? Is this better over here? Is that better? I think we're better now. Although I don't know because the chat's a little bit behind. But let's carry on. You can still hear me, can't you?
Yeah, it says people saying it's better.
Okay.
It's better.
Good. Perfect. So, I think there was a question earlier. It was around traffic. When you look at your analytics, where is the majority of your traffic coming from? We've talked about SEO and Pinterest. Is there any other sources? And what's your biggest source of traffic?
It's organic. It's as a percentage probably 85% organic. The rest of it is from social, whether that be from, I get a little bit from Facebook, but the majority of it is Pinterest. It's Pinterest or it's organic. It's basically just blogs ranking. Okay.
So, and to do that, you just need content, really?
Yeah. Just write good content, different ways of doing it. The majority of the content on the sites at the minute has all been informational because I've been going after traffic rather than sales. It's only been the last 6 months that I've really focused on sales. Now as I've got some traffic, I'm trying to capitalize on it and try and get the income up on sales. But as I started doing that, then Amazon cut the commissions, so that's put a bit of Nearly in the coffin. Yeah, but yeah, I mean the traffic's there, so I have multiple ways now of monetizing it. Depends on the niche, depends on the site. With the pet niche ones, this is one of the hardest things I've found monetizing. You're going after very, very small items,
Yeah.
Pet foods and, things like that. It's such a small commission now, on a sale that I'm having to get hundreds and hundreds of sales just to make, a few dollars. So yeah. Definitely the niche you're in is going to be dependent on whether I would focus on traffic or whether I'd go for sales. So,
yeah, we were talking about this before we came on, that Amazon, although my earnings are up, that's because I'm selling quite high ticket items, but you really do need to be very careful in terms of the niche that you choose if you're thinking of promoting products and finding out the products. Now, I'm starting to do a little bit of work with Clickbank, so I'll be doing stuff on that where you do get paid like 70-80% commission on products, so that could be interesting. And obviously there are other companies other than Amazon to promote, and again, we were talking about this before we came on. I've been struggling to sign up with other affiliate programs, and I think you've been sharing the same experience, haven't you?
Yeah. No, it's very difficult. I think if it's one thing I would advise anybody who's starting a niche from scratch, would be to think about the products and where you're going to get them from. But my new website is high ticket items now. When I first started, I was so scared of trying to push an item like more than $20 or $30, because in my head I just thought nobody's going to buy stuff like that. But people buy £800-900 items off Amazon. They just do, and it's so much easier to make a decent income from higher ticket items than it is chasing these little low value sales. So I think that would be my number one focus, and my number one tip going forward would be either choose a niche that's got higher ticket items, or if the niche you're in at the moment, try and find higher ticket items. Don't be scared to go after them. I know I was the first year. I was just chasing $10 items because I thought it'd be great to sell 100 of them. Well, it's better to sell 2 high ticket items than 100 little ones. Yeah, definitely.
Right, I've just had a big super chat come in from MMK, so we better talk about that. He wants me to split it 50-50, so I owe you $25, which we can sort that out. That's fine. You do get a mega horn for that, so let's do that. I think a little glockenspiel as well. The eagle approves of that. We'll do all the sound effects in the book or on the box. So thank you very much, MMK. If you've got anything that you'd like to ask Karl, then you get priority. That's for sure. That's the biggest super chat I think I've had ever.
That is impressive.
So there's been a load of questions that have gone past while we've been talking. It's very hard to keep up with you all, and I do apologise again if I missed your question. Dad Game, I put your question up a minute ago. Do you think it's worth creating a Facebook group around your content?
I'm going to say no.
No? Okay, good.
It's so much hard work to get such a little amount of return. I think I've been in and out of Facebooks for the last 3 years, and I probably see 20 or 30 visits a day to my biggest site. Yeah,
Facebook really don't want to send traffic away from Facebook. No. That's the trouble.
No.
And I think it's going back to kind of income schools. They've got this new metric, haven't they? Kind of the return that you get from the time invested. So it's kind of think you've only got so many hours in the day to invest in stuff, and you really got to maximize those onto things that give you a good return. And Facebook doesn't. So talk about links from James, because you mentioned writing a lot of content. But do you actually build any links to any of this content?
So that's one thing I've not focused on very much in the last 2 years, although I have started now because I kind of followed the income school approach of just getting content out there and letting it naturally gain backlinks. But my biggest site over the last 2 years, I think, has generated maybe 250 backlinks. And I think maybe only 150 of those are strong ones. So it is something that I am now focusing on. And that's just me manually reaching out to people within the same niche and sector, and newspapers and Quora, and I'm commenting on there a lot. And just reaching out for guest posts. So like I say, I'm lucky that I have a team of writers. So if I do get somebody who says, yes, you can write a guest post for our site, I could just resource it out and get one pretty quickly and send it over to them. So I've started doing that in the last 4 to 5 months. Have bought a couple of backlinks from
okay.
a couple of reputable ones. I made sure that when they came through, they are just guest posts. They are proper, genuine guest posts, and they're on reputable, decent magazines or websites. So but I've not done a lot of it. I was with the income school method, but I do see some benefit, especially since the May core update of backlinks. Definitely.
So it's definitely worth doing. Good. Callum, how do you approach, or how did you approach your writers? Do you ask them to write one article, if you like it, approach them again, or do you go to them with long-term in mind?
So one thing that's happened recently, I've found a couple of really good writers from iWriter. So I've been writing and paying through iWriter for their services, and then they've just actually reached out to me, which at first I was really suspicious of, and they just kind of they must have found the website, they must have searched me or whatever, and they found me and emailed me and said, I wrote a couple of these content for you, and you've paid, and it's published, it's doing really well. Would you like me to write some more? So I've managed to get a couple of really good writers from there. The other ones was found from Upwork, and it's quite painful to actually find some really good ones. You advertise the job, be very specific about what you want, and then you get some articles. I always give them a test. I'll always say, look, do me 1,000 words, and I'll pay you $20, see how it is, and let's go. And I did that maybe with 20 or 30 writers, and ended up with 2 or 3 that were actually pretty good ones. And then it's slowly they come and they go. Some days they can write loads, and then you never hear from them. So it is very, very tricky. But I think once you find 1 or 2 good writers, then you just keep hold of them. So
I think that's the key, isn't it? Once you get some people that understand what you want and have a certain style and tone that works for you, then stick with them. More questions coming in. I think you may have already said this, but how many sites have you got in total?
So 4 in total. 3 are really, really active, pretty big sites. When I say big, we're not in, not in any major league, but certainly 2 of them I'd class as pretty decent, certainly for a niche website. The third one is brand new, but I'm throwing all the writers, all the resources at that because it's a high ticket items. I want to really try and focus on that. And then my 4th one is where I offer my keyword research service, and I kind of throw my personal blogs on there. It's somewhere where I can kind of vent and just, throw some unusual blogs on there that I wouldn't normally expect to rank.
Well, let's actually just talk about keywords for a second. So you have got your keyword service, Keyword Care. I think I've put a link to it in the description. I also did a video on it a little while back. Karl sent me some fantastic keywords that have worked really well on my site. He basically sent me a list of 30 or so keywords, and I created some content, and that content, most of it is ranking page 1, if not position 1 with the snippet. So you've obviously got a knack for keywords, and when you're churning out 76 articles a month or whatever, you need plenty of keywords to base your articles off, obviously. Yep. So what is your approach to getting this mass of high quality keywords? What is your secret tool or your secret weapon, or what are you doing?
It certainly isn't a secret tool because I don't really use one. I wish I did. I wish there was something I could just press a button and it churned out perfect keywords. But it's just a manual process. So there's no magic to it. It's just time consuming to actually find them. So I use the keyword. I use the keyword everywhere, keywords everywhere. Whatever.
The Chrome extension.
Yes, I use that to find the search volumes, and then I use the Moz Chrome extension to find the DA for the sites that are already ranking. So I will use various methods to actually find the original keyword, but it's basically just looking at the website, getting a general feel for it, and then I start doing some Google search. Then when I get on a keyword that I think, this looks all right, I'll find out the keyword volume, and then I'll see who's ranking for it. I'll use the Moz extension, see what the DA is of the sites that are ranking. Because one of the biggest factors that I've found with my site now is that it's not so much the overall DA or the domain authority of the website homepage, it's the actual individual page or the individual article you're trying to go after. So I'll look and see how many backlinks they've got on each article, what their DA is. So if I see in the top 10 searches that there's a couple of 15, 20 DA sites with very little backlinks, and there's a search volume of a couple of hundred, then I'll go after that keyword. So it is a very manual process, and that's that's what's kind of time consuming about doing it.
Yeah. Is that why are you taking orders again on Keyword Care or not?
So do you know what? I switch it on and off.
Yeah.
It's basically I do as many as I can because I'm working still, like say part time. I'm doing this affiliate marketing as much as I can, and then I take orders on the keyword service. So it's just when I have enough where I feel like I don't ever want to do anybody a bad service. So I like to take pride in what I do, and I like to spend a lot of time and getting it right for people. So if I feel I'm getting too many orders, I just put sold out and. I'll leave it to next
well, if you
one.
do want to go check out his service, you'll find a link in the description. It may or may not be open when you check it out.
I think for June I'll be doing some more in June. But I mean each package that somebody buys takes me 2 or 3 days. So it's
but they are good. They are worth having. If you can get yourself one, I'd recommend definitely to get one. Steve says, "Who the hell is disliking this? This is gold." Well, thank you, Steve, and thank you to the 18 dislikes. If you are disliking and would like to make yourself known in the chat, that would be good. But maybe we could get it up to 42 likes and 42 dislikes. That would be a record. But yeah, the dislikes are coming in, but I don't take it personally, and neither does Karl. Oh, there we go. There's a flurry of likes just come in there. MMK, sorry I missed your question. Our top tipper. Every time we put up one of his comments, I think we should put the horn on. Question for Karl. Any thoughts about Project 24? Now, you obviously have you been a member? You have been a member.
Yeah.
So is it worth the time assuming... Sorry, is it worth the time assuming putting aside the cost? I guess, you're saying don't worry about how much it costs, but how much time is needed to get through Project 24?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. I say my next video to upload is about this, exactly on this topic. It's been a year since, like I say, they came to my house, and I get asked this every single day. It's really a tricky one to answer. If you're just starting out, I certainly believe a course is valuable, because if thinking back to when I first started, I must have spent 2 or 3 months just choosing a domain name, putting a theme on, worrying about the logo, the colour, and before you know it, 6 months has gone past. Where the course would give you the steps to, you get this done in week 1, get this done in week 2, and before you know it, you're writing content. I think it's valuable for that.
So they give you the plan, the step-by-step plan that you just literally got to follow. They say do this, do this, do this, do this, so then you end up with something at the end of it. So it gives you a structure. Yeah,
it's kind of like somebody pushing you, because we all do slacking off, and it's kind of somebody going, wait a minute, it's Monday, you should have done this. So it's good. It does push you a little bit like that.
So it's not so much about the knowledge, because I think a lot of us already know what we need to do, don't we? It's just doing it, and maybe having someone cracking that whip and telling you to do this week 1, this week 2 really helps. Sorry, I interrupt you.
I mean, there is some really good content on it about monetization and creating videos and that kind of it. So there is some more advanced stuff on it, but depends where you are with your kind of knowledge. Would you or I now buy the course? No, wouldn't. I'll be honest. But would I have done? Should I have done? Would I have done? 3 years ago? Yeah, I wish I had. I wish I'd done it kind of on day 1 rather than leave it, a year and a half into it before.
You kind of wasted a lot of time on your own, fumbling around, messing around with the colours of your theme and stuff when they would have given you a bit more focus. I think
I'd have been probably 6 months to a year further on than I am now if I'd have done it right back then.
Okay, well, that's great testimony then, I think. So let me just go through a few more questions. Jesse has asked, what's your average earning monthly? I don't know if you want to share that. I don't know. Maybe you can probably hint. You say you're nearly ready to give up your job, so that might give you an indication there, Jesse.
Yeah, well, it's if it's full, if it's all the websites, it varies. The best month I've had is 3,500, and I think the worst month I've had, let's say, the last 6 months is about 1,500. So it
still
varies.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah.
It's around 2,000, 2,500, something like that on each month. But
perfect. And that's in pounds, is it?
Dollars. So yeah, about $2,500, something like that. I think it would be now probably more like 4,000 if the RPM for the ads was decent.
And if we weren't in the middle of a global pandemic
and Amazon and got core update. Yeah. I think we've been hit with 4 things all at once.
Perfect storm. So, Bertie Bowl asks, is Karl building a mailing list?
Yes, I am on one site, but it's something that I play around with on and off. I've never really done it seriously, if I'm honest. I did it with my original site 3 years ago, the first one I ever built, and I got up to 1,000 email addresses on it, and I gave that with the site when I sold it.
Yeah. And
And
have you found that it's much of a sales boost or not, having a email
uh,
list?
do you know, it's not. I mean, the one I've got at the minute is only around 400 emails on it, and I push it out once every 2 or 3 weeks. If there's a special offer or something like that, I'll send it to people. And I got one sale. I think I've had one sale in the last 3 or 4 pushes of emails. So I've not found it great, but I'll be honest, I've not done it properly to really comment. You know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really bothered. I only have an email list for WP Eagle, which, by the way, you can join if you visit wpeagle.com, and then I'll email you whenever I'm going to go live. So basically every Tuesday you'll get an email from me. Nothing more than that. JJP London asks, I wanted to ask you both, if you're doing a review of an item or a top 5, if the first link is manufacturer, second link Amazon, and the rest are forum, is it worth going for to get third max? I'm not quite sure what that means.
So I think it means in the searches. So if it's
I
like
see.
forum,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So if in Google, the first one is the manufacturer of the item, second is Amazon, the third is forum. Well, yeah, I understand now. What would you say to that, Karl?
I would go for that. Yeah, if forums are ranking, usually forums are reasonably easy to beat. So if the manufacturer's first, I mean, I actually do rank above a lot of the manufacturers of the products I'm selling. So
I wouldn't worry about Amazon either. You can outrank Amazon.
Yeah, although it is very strange at the minute. So this, like I said, the core update has put YouTube and Amazon right at the top of the rankings for a lot of content at the minute.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about that, because if that reverts and that changes, all those Amazons will drop and all the blogs will come back up to life. So I would be more focusing on, is there any search volume for it? And then secondly, the actual blogs. So if you get rid of Amazon, get rid of the manufacturer, the blogs that you're competing on, what are their domain authority like, and how many backlinks have they got? That's what I would go for, particularly the backlinks. If somebody's got there and they've got if there's 10 searches and you get rid of 5 of them are Amazon, at least 5, if they're all domains of 25, 30 and above, and they've all got a ton of links, I'd leave it. I won't go after it. But if there's 1 or 2 spaces in there where it's a couple of weak niche sites are in there, then I'd go for it.
You'd be able to jump ahead of them. So, Jim, obviously, the chat is a little bit behind, but that's fine because Karl has to answer all the questions. That takes a few minutes. Jim says it sounds like you wouldn't recommend the pet niche. This was when we were talking about niches a few minutes ago. Well, I always say avoid the pet niche, but you've had some success within the pet niche, haven't you? So,
yeah.
What would you say about the pet niche, which seems to be one of the first niches, or niches, I should say, to our American friends, that people jump on when they're thinking of an affiliate site, probably because they've got a dog or a cat or a fish or a bunny rabbit. So what are your thoughts on the pet niche?
I think it's one of the best niches to get in for traffic. The search volumes are huge in the pet niche, but the competition's also huge. So you either got to really narrow down, or you have to go all in. It doesn't mean to say you can't rank for some very competitive terms within pet niches. You can. I found that my second site, even when it was quite new, was ranking above the spruce pets and stuff. So you can do that because it's very relevant to the individual post now rather than the whole site. So yeah, traffic, I wouldn't go into it if you want to make Amazon commissions.
Yeah, and you've also touched on this, that generally the product value is quite low, isn't it? Unless you're selling, I don't know, a dog treadmill or whatever, which was my thoughts with Bow Wow Tech. Then a chewy toy or a bag of dog food is not going to earn you much money.
Yeah. So no, if it's Amazon or any other affiliate sales you're after, stay away from the pets. But if you want ad revenue, which is, I mean, there's plenty of big sites out there, and I do know some people who's earning 30,000-40,000 a month just from ads on one site
in pets.
So
it's a huge area. A lot of people are looking for stuff for their pets. Let's rattle through some more questions. I'm aware of the time. This is from Adrian at Hasta La Vista Boss, who I'm sure you know. I think you do know. In capitals, I don't know if he is shouting, but he says, "How do you structure your content, Karl?"
Hi, Adrian. For blog posts, I do it. I've now got a set template that I use, and I'll be honest, that has changed month on month. I do a set template where I start off, with intro, then here are the products, and then I'll go quickly to the sale. And if you're in a hurry, get this. So I have a format and a template that I use kind of for all my best this versus that and things like that. For informational content, I have no format. It basically just comes through how I sort of like tell the writer. So I'll say to the writer, right, I want this informational. I want plenty of data on this one, and they'll do maybe a more formal post. Or I'll say to them, I want this very informal, very light, put a bit of your personality into it. So informational posts, I don't format them too differently or spectacular. Yeah, but my best and commission going for sales is a template that I use. It's one that I've come up with, and it's simple. The thing is, this is what I've really started to do now is make the templates and the blogs simple. I'm very, very worried and very, very conscious about plugins either stopping or not working, and you have to rewrite hundreds of articles. So I try and keep it very, very simple. I've stopped using a lot of boxes and template builders, and I've just gone to Gutenberg and a nice, lovely text format, simple images, simple in-text links. Keep it as simple as possible, because then they've got longevity on the side. I know that once I post it, that's going to be fine for 2 years. I'm not going to need to update it. I'm not going to worry about any plugins dropping off. I know that will be running for a couple of years. So yeah, keep it simple, very, very clean. I've gone away from all the like Rehub themes and all the gadgets and the spinning boxes.
Because you're stuck with them, and if you do want to move to something else, it does restrict you. Okay, that leads us on to the next question quite nicely. How much detail, if any, do you give to the writers? Is it just bullet points of what you want covered or a general topic, and do you let your writers go off and do the research, or how does that work?
Yes, I do the keyword research. Pretty much that is it. I'll do the keyword research, and then I will just tell them the keyword. I send them the top article that I'm kind of chasing, or that's ranking really well, or a good example. I usually send them a link to a YouTube video, something like that as well. And then I kind of just leave them to it, because I've kind of coached them and trained them, got them into a point where I'm confident that they know what I want. But in the beginning, I was sending them an actual template. So I was actually sending them and saying, here's the intro. I want 100 words. And then I want the 7 products listing. And then I want, why should you buy this? I want that 50 words, please. And then I want what to look out for. I want 100 words on that. So I would do it like that. Now I'm at the point where, like I say, we're a couple of years into this. I can just say to them, write me an article on ballpoint pens, and that's it. Just
leave them to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving back to technology quickly. You mentioned you just like to use a Gutenberg post and keep it simple, but Steve Wigg asks, do you always use the same theme for your sites, and if so, which one?
I always used Xtheme until recently. I've swapped it out because the theme was getting quite dated and quite heavy. I pulled a lot of resources from like the server.
It has got a bit bloated, yeah.
Yeah, so I've come away from Xtheme. I've used your template. I've used the base WP. Is it? I've used that one.
Yeah, the free theme. Yep.
Yeah, so I've got that one working on the second pet website, and the main pet website. Phil has installed a theme. I'll be actually honest, I don't even know what it's called, but it looks clean, it looks fresh, and it's running faster. But I've tried various themes. Yeah, I've like everybody certainly in the first year. I thought themes were everything. I must have tried 10 themes on one site, but eventually went with Xtheme because it was easy and simple to use. And
but there is better now, definitely. I run Xtheme with WP Eagle, and yeah, I'd rather not anymore. But
it looks dated as well now. It is starting to look a little bit dated. So yeah, I think fresh and clean is the way to go. So yeah.
Let's have a look. Bradbury says he's 7 years down the line. He's still messing around with his logos.
Yeah.
This is going back to your original when you mentioned your team. I think the team member we're talking about is actually in the chat right now. But how much do you spend on someone to proofread and edit? How much do they charge by words? Is it by the article, by the hour? How does that work?
Proofreading, I don't pay her enough. Let's say that. And she knows I'm eternally grateful. But yeah, proofreading can be anywhere from like $10 to $20 per 1,000 words, something like that. It is so beneficial. There's nothing worse than, reading an article and it's really poor English or spelling mistakes everywhere. And the reason I got a proofread, I'll be honest, was to proofread my articles because my articles are shocking. and this lady will know that, I always go, sorry, this is one of my articles. And I know it'll take her a lot longer to do. Whereas the writers are very, very professional. They do this for a living, so their grammar and their spelling now is pretty much spot on. But I certainly would recommend, if you're either writing one of your own or let's say you spend $30 on an article, it's worth spending $10 to get it properly proofread and checked, because that's going to be on the internet for the next 5-10 years, and you're putting your credibility in something that could be terrible.
Yeah, a few typos or badly structured sentences can ruin a whole article, can't they?
Yeah.
MMK Ventures quickly asking, in terms of Project 24, he's not a beginner, but he would like to improve on his SEO skills. Is Project 24 good for that?
It does have some modules on SEO. I wouldn't say they're SEO kind of specialists. They're really kind of natural SEO, so it's really content focused and basically not doing anything silly, just doing the basics right. I think that's kind of what they focus on. If you want to really dive into the SEO, I'd probably say they're not the best to look at.
But there is plenty of stuff out there on YouTube and other places to learn SEO, and generally it's all about just structuring your article well and putting keywords into the headings and the titles, and using a plugin can probably help you with the most of it. Yeah. Jesse, there is no giveaway in tonight's stream, I'm afraid. I know there was Facebook was pulling up the wrong thumbnail from YouTube, which may have confused some people. But yeah, Helen has just confirmed there is no giveaway, I'm afraid. I might give away a site next week, but I've only got a handful of sites. I can't give away one every week, otherwise they will run out by the end of the month. MK says, I find mainly it's the best for e-commerce, maybe not for a content blog business. Demian says, what kind of agreements do you do to get started with your vendors or your providers to build relationships that maybe can develop into exclusivity to resell their products? I don't know if you got to that point yet, have you, in terms of talking directly to vendors of products and doing exclusive deals?
Not so much products, but I've just managed to get an advertisement privately. So I run Mediavine on my main site, and I've reached out to. It was right when the pandemic started, and Amazon I was so frustrated with when Amazon cut their rates, and everybody jumped on the internet trying to find other ways of monetizing or whatever. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to reach out to these big multi-million-pound companies, see if somebody would want some advertising. And amazingly, one of them just emailed back and said, yep, we'll buy some ads for your site. So I sold privately a 500 by 500 box in the sidebar. Yeah, I sold one of those in the sidebar, and then they're going to consider having a banner as well, but that's not happened yet.
What kind of things are you selling? Is that just a fixed price? We'll put you there, or are you charging them on your traffic numbers or your clicks? How's that working?
Do you know what? It wasn't very professional. I kind of just sent this email saying, do you want to buy some advertising space? My audience is absolutely perfect for your product. It's a pet product, so it's like you put your pet product on my site, and I just literally randomly sent about 20 emails out, and one of them text back said, yeah, the actual words
were, rate card?
Yeah, send me over your advertising manifesto. So I was like, I hadn't a clue.
So what about, can you give me a couple $100 or whatever?
That's exactly what I said. I said I can do a $200 advert or a $500 in the sidebar. And they just emailed back, went, we'll have a $500 ad. And I went, oh.
Okay, well that obviously wasn't enough then. If they didn't even question it, it was far too cheap.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, let's get through some more questions. Anthony, a regular here. Good to see you, Anthony. Do you release your articles at a specific time of the week or time of the day or whatever? Is there any kind of numbers you got around maybe putting something up on a Friday is not as good as putting it up on a Monday morning, or is there really no correlation with time of day?
No, just if you get content written, bang, publish.
Get it up there. Get it up there. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I stay up till 3-4 in the morning sometimes and bang, publish. Sometimes I can't go to bed until I've actually published something. So just get it published.
Get it up there. It takes a little while for Google to come in anyway.
Yeah, it's the same with new sites. The biggest number one question you'll probably get asked all the time is, when should I launch a new site? How many articles should I have on a new site? Get 1 or 2 up and publish it.
Just go for it. Yeah, once it's up, you're going to want to do more on it anyway.
Exactly.
Google's going to visit you regularly, so as soon as you add more content, it's going to update. I mean, it's gone to the days where Google is slow. It will update itself every few days. Jim says, is YouTube something us bloggers need to focus on?
Yes.
Yep. Good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think YouTube, and I think also video content inside blogs is going to be the future.
Takes you to the next level. Dana though says, I'm not touching YouTube, lol. But you don't, if you're camera shy or any of that stuff, you don't have to show your face. You can create videos without showing your face, can't you?
Dana, I saw your interview on Alex's channel. She's brilliant. She should get a channel, definitely.
She's a little bit shy, but I think everyone have got something to offer on video. And if you don't want to show your face, then you could maybe record some sort of presentation or, I don't know, do something else. But video content, and YouTube is a massive search engine and it can bring a lot of traffic. Best Skateboard Club says, what should be the proportion of information versus commercial type content on an Amazon affiliate type site?
I always went for about 70-30, 70% information, 30% buyer intent. It really depends though. I mean, like I say, you can build a site all around buyer intent, nothing but best this, best that, top this, top that. You can do that as long as you don't just list the products, as long as you have the products and then a really decent amount of information. So my kind of top 10 this and that has the top 10 items individually researched and information on there, but it then has a lot of content related around that. So I'll have maybe 2,000 words. It's just informational. So even though it's a buyer intent post, it will have probably more words than a normal informational post has.
Yeah. I'm behind on the chat. I am apologising. But if I miss your question, then I do. Yeah, just ask me again. A lot of you are asking questions over and over again. That's not a good way for me to ask your question to Karl. Steve asks, how often do you check your affiliate links to make sure that they're still okay and not dead or sold out?
So I use Genius Link, I think it is, and that just
kind of
tells
does a lot
me
of that for you. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing with it is that if a product goes out of stock, it tells you that the link's kind of broken. So then you go into it and you think, oh, there's nothing wrong, and then it updates like the next day. So sometimes it's a little misleading. So if you use Genius Link and it says you've 20 broken links, I don't panic. I leave them to sit 2 or 3 days. Then if after 2 or 3 days it's still saying they're broken, then I'll go in and either swap out the product or whatever. So you're to and fro with it, but that's a great service and it's very cheap. I think I pay something like $5 a month and it monitors on.
I need to check that. Sammy asks, Acabado theme. Have you tried it?
I've not. No.
Okay,
I get asked this all the time. No, not done it.
Jay says, hi Karl, do you care much about site speed?
Yes.
We all care about site speed. It's a big ranking factor, and we talked about this earlier today, that you think with this new algorithm update it's having an even bigger effect on rankings.
Yeah, I think I've got into my Google Analytics, and Phil in the chat will know I'm panicking like crazy about it, because my website it gives a good user experience. It feels fast, but its reporting is pretty slow, which is really weird. So if you go in GT metrics, the desktop is about 95, but mobile's about 40. But it doesn't feel like a 40 when you go on it. It's super quick. So, but Google will be going on the data it sees, and it sees that it's slow. So,
yeah, even though it might not be. Yes, page speed is very important. I've done a few videos on this, but you can find plugins, and good hosting is generally what you need. And Phil is your man if you want a super fast site. Ryan asks, do you find that content you write gets better over time? Basically, the more practice you do. Or do you find you just learn to stop expecting so much?
I think you can get slacker the more you write. So I've kind of had to rein myself in a little bit. I was getting too eager to hit publish, and thinking that they're good and just hitting publish and sending anything out there. And I know there is a few people who do work like that. They just get the content out first, and then they go back and revamp it and rework it and stuff. Whereas other people make sure it's perfect before it goes out and then never touch it again. So yeah, I do try and make sure they're a decent quality before it goes out. But I must admit, I do sometimes take my eye off the ball and let some stuff go out there. Maybe could have had more data, it could have had a chart, it could have had,
Yeah, I mean, you could keep working on it for ages and ages and whatever. But yeah, there's some articles I want to go back and rejig and make better, which is fine, I think. Sometimes it's easier to improve an article than create a new one.
You will get better. I mean, your original. If you go back to any website right at the beginning, if you go back to the first 50 articles I published, it'll be horrendous.
Yeah, or anything you do.
Anything you
do, you'll always get better the more you do it. Ray's Leon quickly asks, which plugins do you use? Do you have a few plugins that you always install?
Yep, short pixel for optimizing
Image
images.
optimization, yep.
I would not ever have a site without that. Insert header and footer because
Good for adding codes, yep.
yeah, because I'm terrible. I can't do any CSS or anything, so you just bang it in there, done. What else? Do you know what? They're probably the two main ones. I can't really think of any others. Well, if you security, unless it's provided by your hosting company. I use WordFence. I used to use WordFence, but I now use Phil Service, and he provides one and puts one on there.
He deals with all that worry, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need too many plugins. Is there a particular SEO plugin you've drawn towards?
So our rank math now was Yoast until Yoast had that little bit of an incident where they de-indexed everybody's images and they didn't tell anybody and they didn't own up to it. That was the main thing. I can understand them having a problem, but everybody was saying, is there a problem with the images, indexing images? They're like, no problem. And then 2 months later, like, yeah, we've got a problem. So
yeah, that was a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
And Rank Math definitely capitalised on that. Badine says, and this is a very open question, hi there, thanks for the efforts. He says he found a keyword with 10 million average search volume and low competition. Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Go for it. It really depends. Hopefully it's in your niche and whatever. We'd love to know what that keyword is.
Yeah, please share it in the comments.
Yeah. Mature Man just wants confirmation. Which theme did you say you changed to?
Base WP.
Base WP, yeah, which is the theme on bestroofbox.com. And you're moving away from X theme. I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
URL for your writers, Sammy's asking. I don't know if he's going to share them. They're too busy anyway.
Yeah. I think I shared one with you. I think I shared one with you back in the day, didn't I? She was a really good writer then. I don't know if you still use her. I think she was New Zealand.
I haven't used her for a long time. No, you still using her?
Yeah. No, she got expensive.
Oh, that's the trouble. Anthony's asked, he paid for an article using the Hoff, and he was highly upset for the way that they produced it because they literally rewrote another article online. Is this normal practice with big SEO writing?
With a Hoff, yeah. I've not had great dealings with the Hoff. I paid for their service for about 4 months, spent about $4,000, and their customer service was great, but their actual product is not good at all.
Which was the what service were you paying for? Was that guest posting or something?
It's where they do guest posts, they do a few backlinks, they do. I think they write a couple of articles as well. I think it was something like $1,000 a month. And I literally, it was every penny I made, and I threw my hopes into the Hoff thinking it would do something amazing, and it did nothing.
No, I've spent some money with them, and yeah, I've not been too impressed either. It's just kind of easy, and it looks like it should be really good, and their customer service is really good, but then the end result is not very good. So probably best investing that money into content or something else.
Content. Yeah.
For those of you thinking about doing YouTube, Stupid Robot Fighting League says he's ugly as sin and he uses YouTube. But if you check out Stupid Robot Fighting League's video, they are very unique. James says, for your Amazon sites, do you use the Amazon API to show the product images? Or do you self-host them? Or how do you generally deal with product images?
Just use the site stripe for the image. And then I use the AAWP plugin. I've used two. I've used the Content Egg and I've used AAWP. And AAWP seems to be the better of the two. I do worry about Content Egg. It just seems dated and they're not updating it. It doesn't feel like it's a care or loving product. Whereas AAWP, you can tell there's people behind that, working hard on it. So yeah, I use that. But like I say, keep it simple. If it's a best this, best that, the title will be a link from SiteStripe off Amazon, and then the image below it will be simply taken from SiteStripe again, and then a bit of content. And then I might put an AAWP box at the bottom of that. But yeah, keep it simple. Keep
it simple, yeah. And we never know where we're at with the API. Amazon do change their rules and things on that. Now, Nick's got an interesting question here. Nick asks, evenings, chaps. As a ballpark, how much money do you think you need to spend on content prior to breaking even in income? He says he's about halfway through my Best Roof Box playlist, and he says I'm about 2k deep. I'm deeper than that, and I did how much I've spent video a little while back where I shared my earnings, and Actually, I haven't spent that much on it recently because I've been lazy and not actually ordered any content. But I haven't quite broken even yet. I'm getting close now because I've spent less. But what are your thoughts on this? And I think one thing to keep in mind, and this is what I spoke, which is what I talked about in my video on how much I've spent, is that my end game is a big sale of the site. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? And when do you think that you do break evening or even? Well, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I think to kind of even get your first sale, it's about 4 months. I find I've just launched this new site, and the first sale came bang on 4 months. So I think just to get your first couple of sales, you're talking 4 to 6 months. To break even, depends how much content obviously you put put on your site up to that point. Let's say you put $2,000 up to that point. I would say it would take you probably 9 to 10 months to overall to get that back. Then obviously you'll have written some more, so you might be into it for $3,000. So I think I'd say about a year for you to kind of turn a profit. But hey, there's some websites out there that after 7-8 months get the right niche, the right product, and the high ticket items, and you need to sell one a day, and they're making $50.
Yeah, and they're doing it off for 60 articles or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's kind of my new site. That's what I'm going down the track of. How quickly can I get this monetized and income coming from this? Whereas my others have been building traffic. So I've always known there will be a long-term goal. But like we were saying before the chat, I also don't think about it as a monthly revenue. It's what that site is worth overall if I ever come to sell it. Yeah. So if I've not taken a lot of money that month, I don't worry too much because I know I've added value to it, and I know the site is then worth more money.
And that's definitely been your approach, and as you said, I mean, that's why you invest all the money that you earn. So you're never going to make a profit if you keep doing that. But obviously you're going to be building something that's going to be very, very valuable, and then when you do sell it for 5 or sometimes even 6 figures, sites go for, that's definitely not unheard of. In fact, it's quite common. Then it wipes off all those costs and leaves plenty left over as well, doesn't it? So I think you've got to worry about, and then obviously if cash is tight, then you can create these sites without having to spend lots of money. You just have to do a lot of writing yourself. If you're disciplined, it can be done.
If money's tight, just be very conscious about the content that you're writing. Your time's limited, your resources are limited, so you've got to make sure you're writing the best content you can, and you're going after the right products or the right search traffic. That's all I would suggest. If your time's limited and funds are limited, just be very careful about kind of the content you're writing. When I first started, I was just throwing anything on the wall, just any article anywhere. And I think I must have wasted kind of 50 articles. They'll never rank, they'll never do anything. But I was a bit naive about it. So I'd certainly say if you're very, very limited on time and funds, choose your content carefully.
Focus on the good stuff that you know is going to get some traffic, and that if it's affiliate, is going to maybe generate some sales. Andy asked, just a quick question, when was the last Google update? It was 2 weeks ago, was it?
I think it might be 3 weeks now. Yeah.
Do you know the exact date? It was early May.
14th, I think, or something. Was it 11th or 12th, something like that? Yeah, it was beginning of May. Yeah. It'll take a long time for me to forget it, but...
Sean asks, where are you at the moment, Karl? I thought you lived in a house, but now it looks like you're in a flat.
It's my penthouse apartment, as you can see. Trust me, you don't want to see the kitchen behind me.
So you're not in a house?
I'm in my house. I'm in a house, but my house doesn't look like that.
Oh, is it like some background?
Yeah.
I wondered why your shoulder kept disappearing.
I can probably change it. I've got a castle. I've got...
I was going to say it looks kind of wet, but the weather's quite warm here. Yeah. And your armpit keeps kind of disappearing as well. Yeah, I see. You're using some weird green screen.
Yeah, well, we're in lockdown. We've got the kids running around the house. It's
so the background. Is I think I've even got one of those on my. I've got like the WP Eagle one. Does that?
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There we go. Look at that. We can do that. We can change our location. So I think we just got a super chat. Hang on, that was from Shubro Fighting $5 New Zealand, which I'm still not quite sure how much it is, but thank you very much, Russell Horn. And he's just talking about your magical armpit powers, which we all know now is down to Skype. The Skype technology, fantastic.
Brilliant.
So they are braces hanging behind me. That's right. Possibly. I don't wear braces while I'm streaming though. SciTech asks, what percentage of affiliate clicks convert? How many clicks do you need for a sale? That's a big question, because it obviously going to depend on the product and the niche and all sorts of things.
Yeah, that is very difficult to say. I mean, sometimes I get thousands and thousands of clicks and only get 20 sales, something like that. So it's very difficult to say on that. I think the key thing is within the links that you're asking them to link, telling them where they're going to go, what they're going to see, what they're going to land on. If you're more honest and open about that, then you're more likely to get a sale. So if they think clicking a link and they think they're going to get some great information and they end up on Amazon sale page, they're not going to buy. But if they've read some really good content and at the end of it you say, I've shared my thoughts on this. However, if you want more information, head over to Amazon. Here's the link. Then you've got more chance of a sale.
Exactly. There's so many variables. I mean, I get a very high conversion rate on SiteGround, for example, but that's because within my videos, I'm saying if you want to make a website, you need some hosting. So go and use this hosting. So the traffic that I'm sending over is very hot because they're people that are in the middle of a tutorial. They need to set up hosting. So they do. So that could be 70, 80% conversion rate. I've just got my Amazon numbers here because obviously I shared them with you earlier. So this month, the conversion rate on Amazon has been 7%. So that's, 3,500 clicks for 250 orders roughly, which I think is quite high. I mean, I don't know. But again, if I drilled it down and looked at certain articles, some are going to perform better. So I think it really depends on the traffic. If it's a very buyer-focused traffic that's coming in, people that are looking to buy something, they've got their credit card in their hand, they just need a little bit of reassurance and convincing to buy that, then it's going to be high. But if you've got a random article on, our roof box is noisy, that might get a lot of traffic, but people that come to that are probably not going to buy a roof box because they've probably already got one, to be fair. So there's a lot of variables.
I think on Amazon it can vary anywhere. It's around 5% conversion up to a really good conversion, about 12%. So anywhere between that, you're doing fine with Amazon.
MMK asks, is Karl going to be a regular? I don't know. It depends what his schedule's like. I'm sure we could have him on every month or a couple of months. It really depends what he's up to.
So they're happy to come on, yeah.
And fun. Anyone else who wants to be a guest, let's definitely get some more people on. I need to get Adrian on. He had me on his channel a little while back. So, yeah, why not? I'm always up for some guests. So, by the way, I did post a video today which featured a number of WP Eagle viewers. We were talking about whether music can help you create better content and the best places to sit. Is it better to be on the sofa in front of the TV or is it better to retreat to an office somewhere? Karl, what do you find helps you with your writing? Do you have music? Where do you sit?
Yeah.
What's the ritual?
At the minute, I sit wherever I can, where there's no kids running around is usually the best place. I do like music in the background. I struggle to have music on my headphones or on an earpiece when I'm typing. But if it's in the background, I find that really good. But I think the best thing is to just have breaks. I'm trying to coach myself into kind of writing for half an hour to an hour maximum, then have a 15-minute break and then come back to it. I'm notoriously bad at sitting here at my computer for like several hours and then literally can't stand up. So I'm trying to coach myself into a better work ethic, really, because it's not very healthy, to sit still for 7 hours. So.
No. Just following up on Nick's question, he said thanks for the response. This was Nick who asked about how much money to put in and when do you break even and all that stuff. And I can see where he's coming from. So his concern is that he's now like 3,000 in terms of how much he's spent, and he's not made any sales. He has a great work ethic and he's got money to invest, but he doesn't obviously want to be chasing the wrong thing. So I don't know if you've ever had this where you've put a lot of work into a site, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. I guess there's got to be a point where you draw the line and say this is the wrong niche or there's something wrong here. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I did. So not my first site. I think it was the second site ever built was going to be my forever site.
I know the site now.
Yeah, and it's in the medical niche, and I poured my heart into that. I literally, I don't know how many hours of work I put into that, but it was a lot. It had about 150 articles on it, and it was gaining a bit of traffic. And then Google did the medical update, which basically wiped out all traffic, and it was bringing in a couple $100 a month, but I just couldn't get it to move off a couple $100. So yeah, I mean that's one of the sites that I did actually then sell. So it still had a monetary value. Like I say, I think that's the one I got the highest for. So I think it was $1,800, something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, around $1,800.
But you'd spend a lot more in terms of time on the site, hadn't you? I mean,
Oh,
you were literally cutting your losses.
yeah, it was that was when Income School came to my house, and I had the two sites. I had that site which I thought was my authority site, and had
That
the
was going to
new
be the one that was going to do
that
it,
was going
yeah.
to be the one. Yeah, and their first words were within half an hour they went ditch it, and I was like, what? They're like, just ditch it, just cut your losses, and I couldn't do it. I was like, you're crazy, and they're like,
I've poured my heart and soul into
yeah,
this.
this is, it's perfect. The site's beautiful and it's got great content. And they went, but you can just keep it there forever, not doing anything if you want. But it's not going to bring you in an income. And I had to kind of look at it and think, right, do I want to do this as a business or a hobby? And if it was a business, it has to make money. So I cut my losses, And,
So how did they draw the conclusion that it was you had to ditch it? Was it simply because of the niche that it was in, because it was in this medical space, or
yeah.
was there something else that made them think that?
I think it's competition. I think they looked at my content and my website and thought, yeah, you've done really good work. It's very good. It's ranking, but you're going after all the big medical sites, and you're
Yeah, and
never
they've
going to
got doctors and professionals writing for them, and yeah.
Yeah. So they just said you're just never going to compete with that. You could do this for 10 years and you might get 30, 40,000 page views a month. You might get $300 or $400 or something, but they just said it's the time and effort you put into this. Let's put it into something that can really make you some money and get you some traffic. So it was a hard decision to make, but I was glad I sold it because I know that site lives on, and I know people. I know the guy who owns it now, and he's doing okay with it. So I'm glad it did continue rather than just leave it.
So just to sum that up, I mean, I guess there's no black and white rule on this, but what would you say to Nick? And he's obviously putting some money and work into a site, and it doesn't seem to be happening. What would you say to Nick?
I'd find out what the traffic is first. I mean, you need to know, is the traffic going up? So if he's putting his content in and he's not getting the sales, that's fair enough. But is your traffic going up? Because if your traffic's not going up, then there's something majorly wrong. If your traffic's going up, but you're not getting sales, that's fine. We can deal with that. You can monetize it in different ways. You can look at where to go. But if you're throwing all this content, this money on, and your traffic's not going up, something's wrong.
That's a red light. That's a warning sign there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but if traffic's steadily growing, then I'd stick with it, and yeah.
And yeah, maybe you run it past someone, myself or Karl. We might, if you drop us an email, I'll put my email address up now.
Yeah.
Or I can maybe cast my eye over your site and just let you know my thoughts, which obviously you may or may want to take or not. Hello, good evening, Tosh. Good to see you. So the chat is slowing down. This is the most dislikes I've had for a while. I think a lot of people are thinking it's bots or something. I don't know. It's definitely not the content, because Karl is sharing some fantastic stuff, and all the real people in the chat are really enjoying it. So, Stupid Overflighting League says...
they were coming over for a new website. That's what it was, maybe.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't know. There was a bit of a confusion with the thumbnail. I don't know, on Facebook. Never mind. I can't give away a website every...
We should have gave away a site, shouldn't we?
Well, let's give away... No, I'm not giving away any sites tonight. We are going to wrap up soon. I don't want to take you... I'm sure you've got some articles that you need to write. Lee asked, do you use Elementor or UAE or anything like that? You've just mentioned that you'd like to keep it simple now and not mess with any of those plugins, because...
I have got Elementor and UAE on my new site because I thought it needed all those whistles and bells, but within a month of putting content on, I've already stopped and just gone back to Gutenberg on that site. So
yeah, and it is actually sometimes quicker to get content up that way rather than messing around with all the bells and whistles. They take time. And Lee also on that does ask, what are your thoughts on Amalinks Pro? But you've already mentioned that you use AAWP.
I've not used that.
Did you have a look at it? You've not looked at it, no. You probably followed my video and went for AAWP, which is my favourite. Amalinks Pro is fine, but I don't think it's as good as AAWP. But if Josh is here, he'll correct me on that, because he's a big fan and possible associate of Amalinks Pro. What's with all the dislikes, asked Tosh? Are there really 35? There is. I don't know why. It's Luck says it's the most dislikes, but one of the best streams. And then he's put no less than 6 exclamation marks. So thank you for that. John says the content is incredible. Cytec says great stream, ignore those dislikes. So yeah, if you are enjoying it, do click the like, and do go over right now to Karl's channel. The link is in the description. And go and give him a subscription. He's going to upload a video, I think, this evening. So you can be one of the first. And sometimes he premieres his videos, which is something I've never dared to do, where you can actually sit and watch his video with him. The main thing is I don't like to watch my own videos. I find it a bit weird, so that's why I don't do that. Stupid Robot finally says, can I give away my braces? They're not actually braces. It's just some bags and other crap that I've got hanging up there. I need to get my background working. Nick says, just to follow up, thanks again. He says, sorry for the confusion. He's not in that deep yet, but my concern would be if I do get in deep, then don't panic. But basically, yeah, as Carla said, if your analytics are going in the right direction, like after 4 or 5 months, you should start to see some movement in the right direction, and you'll be fine.
I think my advice for Nick would be, if you can't afford to put that money in, don't do it, because do not spend $2,000 or $3,000
that you haven't got,
hoping that you will get it back by X date, because you just might not. So if you've not got the money to do it, don't do it. And I think it's more
risk. There is risk involved with all of these things.
I think just reinvesting is better. As soon as you make something, then reinvest that something, and then keep going that way. That's what I started. That's where I am now.
Wow, MMK has donated another 50, so I owe you $50 now, Karl. Send me your PayPal at the end, and we'll just do a horn for that. There's no question. He just says we're two of the nicest guys he knows virtually. Well, you are also one of the nicest guys I know, who's given me the most super chats on YouTube. I think a round of applause for MMK.
Wow.
Thank you. That's like 100 in super chats, so that's amazing. I will obviously square it up with Karl at the end, maybe. No, we will. Or I'll send you a couple of cases of beer or something. But yeah. Fantastic. So I think we're about come to the end. Kieran's got a quick question. What frequency should pillar post? So these are the really long posts that take ages to write. What are your thoughts on that? I know that Income School did a lot of scientific research on this, and well, they basically said you need a good mix of posts, but in terms of the time you put into a post, a response post generally gives you the best return. But of course, you need some of these pillar posts. So what are your thoughts on them, and how many have you got on your site?
I've got a mega one on my biggest site. I thought that was the way to go. It's about 8,000 or 9,000 words, and that then links out to very smaller pieces of content, and it doesn't really rank. I've tried this several times. I've tried the big massive posts and linking to small ones, and I've never had any great success from it. I've got one currently that covers a topic really, really well, and then it links to 21 other articles, and the 21 other articles do well, but that one main post doesn't. So
it's a funny old thing, but it kind of, I think they do add benefit to your site, and even if they maybe don't bring in a lot of traffic, but they just add that layer of credibility and just show that you know what you're talking about, I guess. But I don't know, but they take a lot of time and money to put together.
They are very easy to turn into an ebook. So that's what I found. When I've wrote them and they've done absolutely nothing, I've just turned it into an ebook and then give it away for emails or whatever, or so that's worked really well. Yeah,
it's a great way to build your list if you've got something of value.
Yeah.
No worries, Leanne. I'm glad you enjoy it. She says great content, Karl and Alex. Thank you. Jim says don't send him beer because you get staff discount at Asda anyway. No, I'll just send him the cool hard cash. Link management, asks Anthony. Just as a question, link management. Do you use it? I mean, you mentioned Genius Links.
Genius Links.
So let's just touch on that. I mean, it is a good thing to manage your links, but I thought with Amazon affiliate you can't mask your links. So how does Genius Link work with that?
I don't think it masks it. I think when you click it, it doesn't. It just actually sends them to Amazon as well, but it sends them to the right destination, the right product, rather than using the Amazon one link. Well, that's often sent them to a product. Say they click from the US, it sent them to the UK, it sent them to the wrong product. Genius Link sends them to the right product or a more suitable product.
You still insert your normal Amazon affiliate links, but it then does something clever when they click it somehow.
I think as it leaves the site, I think that's what it is. I think when they click it in the site, it's still the Amazon link. I think as it leaves the site, I think it's converted then. So I think that's what it is.
That's
They're
some
not
clever
cloaked.
stuff, but they're not
Yeah.
cloaked or masked or anything like that. So, Anthony, in general, I would recommend using something like Pretty Links. That's what I'm thinking of, isn't it? Or some other link management, because I use it all the time on WP Eagle to manage all my affiliate links. But with Amazon, you're not really supposed to use those tools. So there isn't really an easy way to update all your Amazon affiliate links, is there? Unless you do a kind of find and replace on your database or something.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed when I've sold the sites. I'm still getting some sales from those sites like a year and a half later because they obviously haven't gone in and
Haven't
changed
updated all the links yet.
And yeah.
Steve says a similar one on linking. What's your best way to keep track of the internal linking between the articles on your site?
I use Link Whisper.
Link Whisper, which I think you did a video on.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Spencer Hawes is.
Were you paid for the video? Just your disclosure. Yes.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I used it as well. I think it's okay.
I'm an affiliate.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Link Whisper's fine. I've not gotten with it too well, but I need to look at it in a bit more detail. I've heard that it can be good, and it's getting better. So that's a way of tracking all your internal links and coming up with new ones. Edward says, and this is a big question, what's the length of your articles? You just mentioned you did some really long ones, but generally, what's the length of your articles?
Response posts it depends what I'm competing against, but in general, between 1,000 and 1,500 words for a response post. If I'm doing a really good informational post, but it's not a selling page, I'll do kind of 2,000 words. And then if it's a selling best this, best that, it'll go from ranging from 2,000 to 4,000.
Okay, there you go. Justin says, will you be doing a project like Best Roof Box for your YouTube? So doing a case study site?
I might consider it. It is a lot of work. I mean, the work you've done on your videos with Best Roof Box is phenomenal. I think people realise how much making these videos, how long it takes. So,
but you never run out of ideas for videos. That's the thing. You've always got something to talk about. That's what I like.
Yeah, good or bad results.
I mean, I've spoke to other Doug, I know a lot of you are familiar with, and he's thinking about doing it. He's always worried that he'll pick a site, and as we just spoke about, sometimes you do choose the wrong niche, you do make mistakes, and he doesn't want to kind of put himself out there and make those mistakes. But I guess with me, I've always thought that me making those mistakes is actually more valuable to you guys, probably, if I do choose the wrong niche or I do something wrong. I think a case study where it doesn't work is probably still as valuable as a case study where it does work, maybe. I don't know. But we'll see. I hope more YouTubers do put out, and Karl included, do put out some more case studies. But yeah, it is a lot of work. And you do have to put yourself out there and not worry if it doesn't work or if things go wrong. Because I think that's still valuable. I'm talking about Doug and other YouTubers. Is there any other, and we've obviously mentioned Income School quite a lot. Is there any other YouTubers that you'd point people in the direction of if they were looking to learn some useful stuff in this business?
Yeah, there's a lot of new YouTubers coming on at the minute, which I'm loving. Amelia is one of them. She has a great channel. Sean, I think it's Sean Mars. He's really good.
Yeah, I need to hook up with Sean. I haven't done anything. Obviously, Amelia has been on my channel. She was on a week or so back.
Yeah, Spencer Hawes, I love his stuff. I've followed all his case studies and stuff like that, so he's really good. But there is a lot of new YouTubers out there, which is really good to see. And I'm like everybody. I love to see income reports. John Dystract, is it? I think he's from Fat Stack Blogs. He's amazing. He doesn't do too many videos, or he's ramping a few up at the minute. But his email list is amazing. The content he sends out through his email is so funny. It's hilarious. It's great insight, and to see some revenue that guy's making is incredible. So it gives me inspiration. But I love to see the new content in the minute. Like I say, it's really good to see everybody. It kind of feels like everybody's on a journey, just setting off, and we're all with them.
It's good to share it with them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more questions, then we are going to go, because we've been going for nearly 2 hours now, which is a long time. I'm really hot in here. And so, Dana says, so I focus more on response posts. I think we just, said that in terms of the return you get, generally they seem to work pretty well, but I think you still need the odd pillar post. Sean asked, do you buy links or pay for PBN links? I think you mentioned you've bought a few things off the Hoff, but have you ever bought any PBN links?
I've just started. I've just bought a couple of links, and they're just guest posts. They are genuine, decent guest posts. I've not bought any dodgy links off Fiverr or anything like that. And again, I've not done many. I think I bought 4 or something like that. But I have reached out and got some guest posts on some pretty decent sites. So yeah, I do try. I'm trying more and more to get links. I'm always worried that I'm doing it in the wrong way, or I'm putting too many on at once or something. So I just naturally do reach out every now and again. Yeah,
you
not
don't want to overdo it.
overactive.
I'd recommend you probably avoid PBNs. But
Yeah,
it's up to you. MK asking me, he says, I think that you don't like Link Whisper. Any particular reason? I've got no comment on Link Whisper. I tried it. I was going to make some video. I want to make a video about it, but every time I've tried it, it's not quite worked for me, and it may be just the best roof box site and the way that I've got the content written. So I'm not going to comment, but my initial experience was not that great. But do try it and do check Karl's video, and Karl had a better experience than me. So
I think it's not kind of straight out of the box like everybody thinks. There is quite a few settings you need to play on, because otherwise it'll always be telling you to link to the word best or the or
Oh, maybe
by
that's
now.
where I've gone wrong. Yeah, I probably haven't given it enough time and attention that it needs.
You need to exclude a lot of words. So if it's always asking you to put a link like in your title, obviously you don't want a link in the title. You tell it to exclude links in the title.
Yeah.
So it does take a bit of setting up, but once you get it set up, then it's pretty good.
It's good, yeah. And internal links are really important. Good, relevant internal links work really well.
Yeah, I do put a few on.
Jess asks, Karl and Alex, is blogging on Quora better than starting your own blog? No. Always blog on your own platform, create your own websites on your own hosting. Don't rely on other platforms. We rely on other platforms enough to get our traffic, but to rely on them for our site as well would be too much, because as people have said in the chat back to you, if Quora decide to shut you down, that's it, it's gone. And that's why, again, I would avoid somewhere like WordPress.com and always have your own WordPress. Cytex says Miles Becker is good. He is, although there was a comment on Miles in the group. Do you know what I'm going to say? Yeah. Where he does these case studies, which they're not on my level and they're not on Karl's level, I don't think, where he'll just like blow $5,000 on some content and go, look, I grew my site within a month to this revenue. And I think a lot of people are struggling to kind of relate to him. He's just at a different level, and he does put out some good content.
Spencer Horse is kind of on that as well. I mean, that shocked me. I watched his case. I think I texted you one night and said, have you seen how much Spencer Horse has just spent on his site? And I think it was like $20,000 on content in like the last year. And kind of when I think about it and how much I've put on my site, I'd probably put the same amount in. But to see that, I followed his case and I didn't think it was anywhere near that amount of money. So that was quite shocking. Yeah, they've got the money to spend on it.
Yeah, but they're definitely worth watching as well. Cytex says, I much prefer writing how-to guides. Would it be sensible to continue to write them with a view to make a traffic-based income site? Yeah, how-to guides are great content, aren't they?
Yep.
Bertie's got a quick question, not a daft question. He says, do you allow or disable comments on your posts? Is it worth the hassle of moderating them?
I disable all comments on my blogs.
There we go. Michelle loves Link Whisper. Good, we're getting some Link Whisper love. Helen says that she disables her comments. It's far too much work.
Yep.
Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up because the questions are starting to fade away. We're still sitting on 140 viewers right now. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you to the bots for the 39 dislikes. But thank you, the real people, for the 92 upvotes, or whatever we call them. Likes. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed it. There's been a lot of questions. It's been really busy. Karl's done incredibly well answering them all. No planning, as usual with my videos. There was no planning. It's all just off the top of the dome.
Yep.
Another dislike has come in there. Fantastic. We'll end with this question from Tosh. She says he's got some posts on his old Blogger site that might do well on his WordPress site. Should he migrate those posts, or is it not worth it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the content, but yeah, I mean, send them over, redirect them, and see what they get. See if they get any traffic.
Yeah, I would redirect them off your old site. Otherwise, you're going to have a duplicate content thing going on.
Yep, redirect them and see what they do. Yeah, definitely.
If you are going to leave your comments on, there are some plugins that will help you with the spam. A lot of people are saying that comments are too spammy. I think it depends on your site, really, whether comments are going to fit or not.
I know a few big bloggers like Spencer Horse and a couple of others that said recently that they'd switched them off. Might even be Neil Patel, but yeah, there's a couple of them that said they've stopped them now because they used to add a lot of value, and now they're it's more hassle than it's worth. So I know a lot of people are switching them off now.
Yeah, they are a bit of hassle. Steve says, Karl, you're my new favourite. Oh, I won't take it personally. Well deserved, I think. Thank you, Helen, for keeping everything in order. And yeah, Andy says he really enjoyed this and he couldn't move away. Cytex says, excellent stream, guys. Alex on Karl's channel next. Well, I'm waiting for the invite. He will be inviting me to
coming soon.
Yeah, be coming soon. He's got all the gear for streaming. I know that out. He bought some Elgato lights. I don't think he used my affiliate link though, but we won't hold that against him. He bought a light, and you've got the streaming software. So hopefully, I'm sure they'll be far more professional than mine, and you'll be able to get the intro working and everything like that.
I'll have to get the kids to show me how to do it. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Glenn says, I'll get a strange email tonight asking me to pay for less dislikes. We think there's going to be some sort of blackmail. Possibly. We'll see. I will, of course, share that with you if that does happen. Justin says that WP Eagle, Karl and Leon Angus are his favourite. Good choices there.
Yeah, good one. Leon's good, yeah.
Nick says, any chance that someone could put these YouTubers' names in the chat? I don't know. Maybe we could. I can't remember what Karl said. He's mentioned so many. We'll figure something out. Maybe Karl can send me a list and I'll share that somewhere.
I'll put some in the Facebook group if you want.
Or indeed join us in the Facebook group, which, if I'm quick, I might be able to get you a quick link to. And Dana still wants people in the Discord, which I believe is not like the Wild West anymore. I think it's quite a friendly place, but I've not been in there myself much, really. Do go check that out. Bertie says, fantastic stream. I'm just going to get this link and then we're done. Jim says, come to the Discord. Helen's already put the link in, of course she has. She's far quicker and more efficient than I am. So yeah, let's call it a night. Thank you all for joining myself and Karl. I'll be back again next week. J5 says the Facebook group is cool and the Discord is funny. So there you go. Jess says, what's my best selling roof box? It's the Thule Force or something. The one that I've linked to the most. Super chat, last super chat now from Stupid Robot Fighting League. There's the horn. What is my t-shirt size? I'm a medium. If you want to send me a Robot Fighting League t-shirt, I will of course wear it when it arrives on the next stream. But yeah, I've got some more videos coming this week, some more featuring WP Eagle viewers, including Dana, so be sure to be subscribed and I will be putting them up this week. They just need a tiny little bit of editing. Shelley says she loves the stream so much. Thank you, Shelley. Another super chat from Stupid Robot finally. He's going to wear the horn out. Jesse says, do you guys put milk first or the cereal first? What a crazy question. Of course you put the cereal first.
Cereal first.
Of course, when it comes to tea, if it's made in a pot, then it should be milk first. If you're making it with a tea bag, then it's obviously the water and the first. We've got a super chat from Glenn, aka visit retrosetup.com. So we'll do the horn. 100 Danish kroner, which sounds like a lot. I don't know how much it is, but thank you. More horns, more glockenspiel, and I think we'll wrap it up. So I'm going to do the countdown. I know that Stupid Robot Fighting League is now going to continually send super chats so that I can't leave. There's another one. He says he's pregnant. What should you call his baby? You should call your baby Karl. We're now into the Twilight Zone. We have Bertie. Let's count down. 5. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Karl. 4.
You're welcome.
3. 2. Go and check out Karl's channel. It's in the description. 1. Bye-bye. I think we're...